very quickly, and Lonji has promised me exactly 3 minutes because we want to engage in the panel discussion. Lonji, or Dr. Lonji, is a CSIR principal researcher, and he leads the Advanced Functional Materials Research Group at the CSIR Center of Nanostructure and Advanced Materials. He holds a doctorate degree in chemical engineering and has extensive experience in nano medicine-based products and processes. And I'm sure that he's going to tell us what can we do in terms of the medical side of things in cannabis. Thank you, Lonji.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Kenny, thank you so much for the kind word of introduction. Just kind for now, because 15 minutes before that, it was not so kind. I prepared 10 slides, and 2 minutes before, Kenny said, you need to put it to 1 slide. It was not so kind, but let me go ahead. Colleagues, I'll be mostly talking about the product development on cannabinoids that we've been doing at the CSIR. I'm going to be very short. When you come to us with a request for us to develop to formulate your product, the first thing that we do while we are taking you through what we call the quality by design product development, the first thing what we do is to ask you what is in the pot. When you say what is in the pot, it does mean what is that you're bringing to us? Is it an extract? Is it a crude extract? Is it a purified extract? Is it an isolate? Does it have THC? Is it psychoactive? Do you need, let's say, what you call the entourage effect in your last product? Those are the first questions that we ask you. Then you can start design the final product that you need. The second thing that we take in consideration is the inherent properties of the cannabinoid. So far, we've been working with CBD, cannabidiol. CBD has a very low solubility in water. It's more or less 0.7 microgram per ml. That lead to, when you take it orally, the bioavailability is less than 6%. CBD has also, a log P of more or less 7.7. And that means it's really not soluble in water. Now, when we combine all those properties, our challenges, we take them in account during the design of the final formulation. And we also look at the other inherent properties of CBD, mostly because susceptible to physicochemical changes or alterations, such as the isomerization. CBD can convert itself into THC, depending on the conditions. CBD can oxidize easily. CBD can also undergo what you call the hydroxyquinone conversion, and it also very sensitive to temperature. Now, we put all those things together before we start designing the final formulation. And then one more question that we ask is, what is the target application? Are you going for nutraceuticals, or are you going for pharmaceuticals? It's very critical for us to know from the beginning the final application of your product that you desire. And we have also the dosage format that we need to take in account. Is it a liquid? Is it a powder? Is it a tablet? What type of dosage format that you need for us to design it very well. Now, taking into account all those things, we'll be guided by the techno-economics, because we do also a preliminary techno-economic study just to know whatever you're going to put in the formulation is going to be very expensive and prohibitive to be sold. Now, what we've projected already, is just a portfolio of the product that we've developed over the 4 years, the last 4 years, in collaboration with external partners. In 2019, we got CBD nano formulation that can be injected, either IV intravenous, either intramuscular. In 2020, the team developed. In 2020, the team developed CBD-infused beverages. It means either in water and in beer. CBD nano powder for therapeutic procedures, and CBD nano emulsion gel in form of gel or patch for the dental application. In 2021, we embarked, that was during the COVID pandemic. We also participated in the solution to COVID. We formulated CBD antiviral spray that was no alcoholic. And then we also formulated CBD nano that was nebulized for pulmonary delivery. And in 2022, we came up with a CBD-infused cream as anti-inflammatory, and then CBD immersion for vaping. That is the latest product that we came up with for a client, and CBD-infused cream as an anti-aging, and finally the CBD-infused lotion for for high lid inflammation. All these products are already in the process of licensing, and most of them, they are nano-formulated. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Lonji did respect my time. Thank you very much, Lonji. For those who know Lonji, Lonji can really take his time, but thank you very much. And I'm glad that he left that slide there so that you can see exactly what is happening. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in the next few minutes that we have, I'm going to start with one of our speakers here who hasn't been introduced or said anything yet, because he wants to engage in the discussion. And his name is Herschel Maasdorp, who is the Group Executive for Business Development for Labat Africa and Director at Biodata. At Labat Africa is a company that is listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange and the Frankfurt Stock Exchange in Germany. He is an entrepreneur with the degree from the Faculty of Community and Health Sciences at the University of Western Cape, and has postgraduate degree qualifications in development of economics from the same university. He is also qualified in logistics and applied mathematics from universities in Ecuador, Belgium, etc. And he was internationally recognized as the 2021 Africa and Middle East Cannabis Entrepreneur of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, please do welcome Herschel. All right, to start the discussion, I would like to ask him a question on the role of the regulator from this space. We all understand and know that the cannabis industry is a very highly regulated industry, and our laws has changed with time. So if you can please just reflect to us from a regulatory perspective and give us a little bit about, give us information about your journey as Labat Africa in terms of going through those hurdles of the regulation. And if you can as well reflect perhaps in terms of how our current regulation differs
from the ones internationally? You can pick any of your choice.
Thank
Thanks.
you very much, Kenny. Well, I think the regulatory framework is rather clear. You receive a license for the manufacturing of THC or the growing of THC for the export market. And that is the amendments that came from the Medicinals Act, this is Section 22C and 22D. The capability of trading with THC in South Africa is obviously not possible, so you are subject to the International World Health Organization certification standards for this molecule crossing your border. So this is, the regulatory space is very, very clear in this regard. As far as CBD trade is concerned, you are allowed to sell CBD. It is legal tender for 20 milligrams per dosage per adult per day, and a package of about 600 milligrams at max. The environment has been enabling in the way that it is possible to be able to trade it, to grow it, and to target an international market. We are exporting at the moment to Australia, where our particular cannabinoid profile in the raw flower is being dispensed from various clinics in Queensland and Australia, and our offtake agreements with Switzerland as well as with Germany. Importantly is that what we have to observe is that the medicinal cannabis market and the industrial hemp industry are two very, very different commercial propositions in the world. It is also a new category in the economy. In other words, if you say that the cannabis economy is worth 28 billion, and then who says so? You know, who said that a gram of cannabis costs A, B, or C? And there are a few ways one can determine that, you know, but still, internationally, cannabis was a prohibited substance. It was scheduled, or at least dealt with in various pieces of legislation. So when you ask the question with regard to regulatory framework, you have to take into account your safety and security legislation. You have to take into account your agriculture legislation, your plant act. You have to take into account your Narcotic Act. You have to take into account your Medicines Act 101 of 1967. You have to take into account the Department of Justice and Correctional Services. So there's a number of different pieces of legislation that traverses across very many different sectors. What we've been able to achieve was to, in a very measured way, establish our medicinal cannabis value chain. So we have a genetics company where we're rather particular with regard to which kind of genetic framework it is that you plant. And then you have a grow operation that you process and package for the international market. And there are very, very different options that one has as far as the genetic framework is concerned. And you have to consider the cost of production and the plant, the breeder's rights that are applicable. Who owns that? There are about 9,500 different strains that's possible to access. So you particularly target one compound or a particular genetic framework or profile for a particular client, for a particular purpose, and that is how that medicinal value chain works. We were lucky enough, well, certainly lucky is it's about competence and capability. So we're one of 3 extraction licenses that also been issued in South Africa. And so now we also established our own extraction facility. And extraction is really the space of where you're able to be measured. It's about finding dosage, it's about having the metrics, and that's really the point. It's a new category of the economy, so you don't really know the metrics for the purposes of that kind of measurement. And I always state that Labat Africa is a cannabis business full-time, and we're a 3 times audited cannabis business. So for 6 times, we also have to do your interims cross-border. So and then just to close on the question regarding international, it's an international business, number 1. And number 2, the real success for both hemp and medicinal cannabis is in a multi-jurisdictional kind of perspective of how it is that you scale this industry. That's my 2 cents for now.
Thank you. Thank you, Andy. Herschel. Andy, from a Kucha facility perspective, is this facility, I understand it's a collaboration between the CSIR and Kucha, and there are other partners as well that are involved. From your perspective, is this facility something that the general public sitting here can be able to access? And if so, what and how should they be able to participate in the facility? How do we get access to the facility in simple terms?
Thanks for the question. I think we've got to understand that this is government equipment. Therefore, it's available for the public. It's available more though as under controlled use, obviously. And it's because it's a batch facility, it allows us to experiment. And I think for that reason, the CSIR are the best partners that industry could have in South Africa. We've got a unique environment in which we're growing our fibre here, especially close to the sea. We are able to saltwater ret it, for example. I won't go to retting. But as the public throughout South Africa are in different environmental conditions growing with fibre, we actually encourage them to engage with us so that we can actually do some tests and actually run some fibre.
Fantastic, thank you. Moving to Dr. Okole. Dr. Okole, from a product and process development, again, I understand that you've got 20 SMMEs that you have selected. Is that all as an SMME that had what you just discussed here? How do I further get some form of help or advice from a CSIR perspective? Can you just perhaps take us through that process? If I'm outside the call that was already made and closed, how do I still access you, and what sort of services can you provide?
Thanks, Kenny. We have 20 right now. There is a call that we had last week for more. So there are still more that we're going to take into the program. But if you are not successful to be selected in the program, you can still contact us and we will see how we can help you. I mean, we have many people who are contacting us directly to see how we can help them with their process and product development.
Thank you, Dr. Okole. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is still an opportunity. Please look out and engage as appropriate. Now, moving on to Lonji. In terms of the products that you have defined and you've just told us there, again, what is unique? What's that unique value proposition from a CSR perspective that you bring into the cannabis market? And you can differentiate between the marijuana and the hemp, if you don't mind, in terms of your specific input.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Kenny, for the question. I mean, the value proposition that CSR is putting out there is, in a simple term, we are converting a highly hydrophobic. It means it's cannabinoid that is not soluble in water. We make it water soluble. And what does it mean? When the cannabinoid, if you take it just it is, you'll need, I remember I spoke about a bioavailability of 6%. It means you need to take a lot for you to see the effect. But with what we are doing through nanoformulation, we are increasing the bioavailability, we are increasing the water solubility. It means you just need just a bit for you to start seeing the effect. I think that's the value proposition that we're putting out there. And then for us, it's a value add. It means the industry will be competitive on the global market because we are bringing in innovation in the formulation. Now, in terms of hemp and the marijuana, at the stage where we are in terms of value chain, we usually look at cannabinoid. We don't know if it's coming from hemp, if it's coming from marijuana. We just look at the molecule, it's cannabinoid, and then we process it and we formulate it. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. Unfortunately, colleagues, I was hoping that I'm going to give you time from the floor to ask questions, but unfortunately we're out of time. And you know, from Labat, just because I did not, you did not present, any last words from your side? And then I will allow the colleagues to meet with you guys outside. So if anybody have specific questions, please, you are free to go and contact the colleagues outside. Just your last words. Thank you.
Yeah, I think if one just reflects on the message from the minister yesterday morning, as well as the CEO of CSIR, we have everything in place to have a vibrant cannabis economy implemented in South Africa. It's really an opportunity, especially medicinal cannabis, but particularly also industrial hemp. The employment absorptive capacity of the hemp sector is very, very high. The necessary knowledge infrastructure from a knowledge economy point of view resides here with the CSIR. The reason why we have a memorandum of understanding with the CSIR is exactly to accelerate various activities commercially, but that talks directly to an accelerated economic recovery opportunity for South Africa. And I think the time has come for us to really put that stake in the sand, to get the moment right, to get around the table and implement some projects cross-border. The international market still is unable to compete with our cost of production. We are the third largest supplier illicitly in the world. We know 20 kilograms of medicinal cannabis exported as close to 1 billion rands of profit at any given moment, any week or any day. Last year, we didn't even touch 2 tons to export from South Africa, but illegally we exported close to 3,000 tons. This is a multi-trillion rand industry internationally. We have about 80 legal cultivators. We've got 1 million growers. We were really substantially relevant internationally when it comes to cannabis. Our product is sought after. This particular biosphere is the Champagne region of cannabis, as it were. You'll see most of our EXCO members here. Stanton is our group CEO is here. You can see that they really make sure that the product works well. Dave from our cultivation side and our industrial hemp team with Tabiso and Craig, them are here. We were really encouraged yesterday when we realized these are the capabilities that the CSIR has. We can, in a very measured way, offer commercially prospects to the rest of the world. That's available now. More and more countries are coming online. And if you get involved in cannabis, in the regulated space, you're going to be successful economically and commercially. That we know for a fact. We're now listed on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange in December of last year. We're just busy establishing Labat Pharma GmbH in Germany. So we will also be the largest buyer of our own product as we navigate that kind of distribution space in Europe. The last point is our pharma ethics approval that we have for the study of and the prospect and the observational study. We also have a clinical trial, phase 1, that we are initiating for the purposes of looking at the replacement of opioids for pain management, which is really the endeavor is to identify these respective active pharmaceutical ingredients that really puts South Africa on the map from a pharmaceutical point of view.
Fantastic, fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me congratulate my speakers for such wonderful insights into the cannabis industry. All right, thank you very much. This concludes the session, ladies and gentlemen, but it opens new opportunities for those that want to collaborate with us here at the CSIR.